nervous or even apprehensive, or even me, or you've just married Chris Williams. It's been an emotional day, even the cake's in tears. Yes! I'd like to start by saying that all the bridesmaids look absolutely lovely today, and only rightly outshone by our stunning bride, Kira, who really does look gorgeous. All the gentlemen in here, I'm sure, will agree. It's a sad day for single men that another beauty has left the available list. And I'm sure the women will agree that today's passed by without much of a ripple. For those who don't know me, my name's Tom, and I'm obviously the best man. Chris gave me a bit of a brief before this, said to be amusing and to dazzle them with your wit. Problem is, I'm not actually that funny, so the best I can go for is to dazzle you with the light bouncing off my head. People think of Chris in several different ways, from being a salesman who self-proclaimed can sell sand to the Arabs, being a white Mo Farah, and being a well-established traveller. I'm going to start with the travelling. Lots of people go to Chris for advice, for example, our chief bridesmaid for her travels. I'm here to tell you that it hasn't always gone smoothly for him. Firstly, our big trip to Australia, the first big trip we all had. Chris took the lead role, as he normally does, planning and organising the flights and booking it all. We were flying to Bangkok from Manchester. We had to change planes in London. We landed in Gatwick, no issues, ready to get on our connection flight. Problem is, he booked the connection flight from Heathrow. For those who don't know, that's the other side of London, and we only had about an hour to get there, so there was no chance. So if it hadn't been for a pretty good employee who helped us out, that would have ruined our first big trip. Another travelling trip is when we had a lads trip to Oslo. We hired a car to get about a bit better. Johnny was driving. Chris took the passenger seat because he thinks he's a bit of a navigator. It all went quite smoothly, to be honest, until the last day. We were heading back to the airport. It was a fair distance, a bit of a drive, and we went through plenty of tunnels. A few of us in the back were saying, "Are you sure you know where you're going?" Because we didn't have a map or anything. To which he kept replying, thinking he was hilarious. "You can't get lost in a tunnel, mate." We then pulled up at the airport. Turns out there's actually more than one airport in Oslo, and Chris took us to the wrong one. I was driving. We then had to dump the car at that airport, get on a bus, and pretty much made the flight by asking of our tea. I'll just say a little bit about Stag Do, as Chris has already touched on. It went really well. I'd like to say thanks for everyone who came and made it such a great time, especially for all the fancy dress. For those who didn't see the pictures, Chris dressed as a woman quite frequently on that, and claimed he was a solid 6 out of 10. And he certainly got plenty of male attention when he was from behind. For anyone who's ever been for a beer with Chris knows he's absolutely useless at drinking. He's notorious for getting naked, falling asleep. He even fell asleep once at Glastonbury while Bruce Springsteen was playing. He's also pretty useless with a hangover. The morning after, you can often find him laid up in the fetal position. Often moaning, "Oh, Joe Langley." No one knows who Joe Langley is or where he came from, but it's pretty annoying when you're feeling rough yourself. He's also pretty renowned for throwing up the morning after as well. A couple of occasions spring to mind. When we were in Ibiza on a lad's holiday, he had to stop the bus heading to the airport so he could get off and throw up outside a full hotel. He did get a massive cheer, however, when he got back on the bus. And also another occasion in Ukraine, where he was sleeping on a top bunk. He jumped off, had loose-fitting shorts, tripped over, fell on the floor, and had to scramble to the shared bathroom on the floor. He was that loud on that occasion, I'm pretty sure he woke the entire floor up. Another hangover-related story would be, in his Chris's most generous moment today. He took 5 of us on holiday, paying for the flights himself. I know what you're thinking, wow, that's not the Chris I know. Just to take a little bit of shine off it, it did only cost him 10p in total. We'd had a particularly heavy night one night, and Chris decided to stay in bed and sleep it off while the rest of us went exploring. We returned to the room a few hours later. Chris still lying in his own filth. But with one exception, he had a big McDonald's bag on his pillow. When we questioned him about it, it turned out he found just enough strength to get to his feet, stumble to the McDonald's around the corner, stumble back to bed to eat it. I'm pretty sure that was a low point even for him. So naturally as a stag, we presumed he'd be his usual self, if not even worse. But by some miracle, he managed to stay awake, with the last man standing every night, and he didn't even suffer the hangovers too much. That was something not all of us could say. A couple of highlights, probably Chris's running mate Rocky, getting absolutely leathered, shouting, "I am amazing," at the top of his voice, and even throwing a few punches at the end of the night. And Johnny, who was down there with a callback, getting paralytic one night, passed out on the floor. Andrew decided to give him a bit of telling off because he'd gone a bit too far. Johnny managed to find just enough consciousness to sit up and give Andy the finger. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about how the couple have got to this point so far. They actually met while working at Grattan. Chris had been purposely watching her from afar for a while. He'd seen her in Walkabout a few times, and after watching her a bit, realised he had his in, and they shared one passion. That was, of course, Downing Body Red Bulls. Which they used to do every weekend, at least, probably twice a week. Another reason why they're probably suited is Kira proved how pervy and weird she is by putting a pair of knickers in Chris's bag when he went to Australia with the lads. I don't think she remembers that. I'm not sure whether they actually know is that early on in his trip, the rest of the lads found these in his bag. Tomo decided it'd be funny to put them on. Then put back in his bag nicely. So I'm hoping he threw them away when he got them. As has been mentioned earlier, we went travelling together, and this was a big step for any couple, let alone one that have only been seeing each other for a few months. We came back stronger for it, and once they returned, you just knew they were going to be together for the long haul. Now they're set up with their own home. Kira's got her own business, Chris is doing well in the family business, and they're all set up for wedding bliss. Talking of wedding bliss, I read it's a tradition for the best man to give a bit of wedding advice, but since I'm not married, I wasn't really sure what to say. So I thought, as you do, I'd Google it. So Kira, I read one interesting fact. It is a fact. Apparently 100% of marriages where the husband doesn't get to go on at least 2 lads' holidays a year ends in certain divorce. And Chris, I'd just say, just keep doing whatever it is you're doing, because we all look some personality. It's a miracle we found anyone to marry. I love someone like Kira, so very much appreciate giving her the work. On a serious note, as Chris has said, he is my best mate. We've known each other since first school, when we used to rule the football pitch at Stocks Lane. Obviously this tells you probably a bit about Moore's awful coaching. We've done a lot of travelling together. In fact, while we're writing speech, I actually realised we've been to 34 countries together, which I'm pretty sure is something not a lot of friends can say. We've experienced a lot, from playing football in school and stuff, to bungee jumping, shark diving, skydiving, mountain climbing, just to name a few things. We've had some great times and some not so great, but he's always been there for me as a friend. I'm absolutely honoured that he asked me to be his best man, and I'd like to take this opportunity to ask him to repay the favour when I marry my beautiful fiancée. We make a great couple, I'm sure everybody will agree. And I wish you both a lifetime of happiness. standing. All of them standing, and Rachel Bassett, back and forth toast. To Chris and Kira, or Mr. and Mrs. Williams. Stop the clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all you've got some great speeches there. Give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Mal, to Chris, and to Tom, ladies and gentlemen. All the speeches, guys.